Hey folks, I'm Chris and I'm your Commander Mechanic. Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Magic's Dungeons and Dragons themed set is almost upon us, and with that, as a fan of both Dungeons and Dragons and Magic, I've been looking for a way to have them both play together, with a flavor that melds the two as closely as possible. And this got me thinking about the HORDE format. For anyone not familiar, the HORDE format is like a co-op versus AI game, but within Commander. Each player pilots their own deck, but the HORDE deck pilots itself in an attempt to kill each of the players. The HORDE wins if the player's communal life total is reduced to 0, and the players win if the HORDE has no cards in its library, hand, and no creatures on the battlefield. And only then. There's no instant wins here, so Thassa's Oracle can stay at home. If the HORDE has to make any choices, it chooses them randomly. They're in control, not the players. The HORDE has infinite mana and plays everything from its hand each turn. It also activates all abilities before it attacks each combat with everything, since all of its creatures innately have haste. It is unrelenting after all. Each turn, the HORDE flips cards from the top of its library until it reveals a non-token card, casting all of them. The heroes get 3 turns to prepare themselves and train up before the assault, after which the players take their turns simultaneously, attacking and blocking as a team like a 4-player version of Two-Headed Giant. It's important to note that players only contribute 20 life total to the group's communal life total, so all 4 players combined have 80 life. Keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting greedy. As players damage the HORDE, it doesn't lose any life, but instead mills cards from the top of its library. Here, their deck is their life. Now, I'd let each player start with one of the new class cards in the command zone. No duplication. This way we can have a unique party. You can have these match the color identity or not, but this is a way to add some extra D&D related flavor to the game. Now, HORDE decks usually consist of 60 tokens and 40 non-token cards. Being that all Goblin tokens are 1/1s, we'll need to get creative. These Goblin tokens don't have to be boring. We can include your standard 1/1 red Goblin tokens, throw in a few of the 1/1 red Goblins with haste, some of the new 1/1 red Goblin wizards with prowess, and even a few of the 1/1 black festering Goblin tokens that give another creature -1/-1 when they die. But the meat of the deck should be effects that pump Goblins, remove enemy permanents flavorfully, and create more Goblins. For this, I've put together the following HORDE deck for your consideration. There are 4 Goblin Chieftains to pump the team and give them haste again. There are 2 Goblin Trash Masters who pump the team but also sacrifice the board to wipe out as many artifacts as it can. The HORDE has 4 copies of Impact Tremors to get some further damage out of all of the Goblins it makes. There are 3 Goblin War Strikes in the deck too. Be careful of big bursts of damage to the players. We have 4 Beetleback Chiefs who bring friends with them to the party. And the HORDE also has 2 Legion Loyalists, making the HORDE's army more threatening and preventing it from being blocked by token creatures. Along those same lines, there are 4 Bloodmark Mentors in the deck too. These little guys will help almost all of the entire HORDE's army have first strike. The HORDE also has access to 4 Goblin Bushwhackers for temporary boosts plus more haste. The HORDE has 2 big attackers in the deck in Reckless One. Hopefully these won't get trampled before attacking because they represent a big beefy creature. The HORDE also has 4 of the new Swarming Goblins from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. They're beefier than your average goblin and bring friends with them too. Rounding out the non-token creatures are 1 copy of each of Krenko, Mob Boss, and Muxus Goblin Grandee. These 2 represent big bursts from the Goblin HORDE. Be prepared as their leaders come out to play. Now, there are also non-creature, non-token cards in the deck. This starts with 4 copies of the new You See a Pair of Goblins. Remember that the HORDE chooses randomly between these 2 options. There are also 2 Goblin Oriflamme in the deck, along with 2 Goblin Assault and 2 Goblin War Drums. And lastly, the HORDE has 1 copy each of Patriarch's Bidding, always naming goblins of course, and Kindred Charge. These 2 can definitely end games if the players aren't careful. Now, this might not be the biggest or meanest horde, but it's certainly going to live up to the horde name. Lots of little attackers chipping away with damage over and over again. Can you resist the relentless charge of the Goblin Horde? Let me know if you've heard of or played the Horde format before, and if you'd ever put together something similar to this to run through a Dungeons & Dragons inspired experience inside Magic the Gathering. As always, folks, good luck and have fun.